Hey everyone, Mike Burke here with InsideRealEstatePhotography.com. Probably one of the most common questions I hear is how much should I charge for real estate photography? It's sort of a tough question to answer and a lot of people struggle with it, but in this video I'm going to do my best to help you answer this question by outlining some important points to think about when setting the prices for your services. So as I stated in the intro, I get a lot of questions on this topic about how much to charge for real estate photography, or people asking me how much I personally charge for a shoot. Sorry to disappoint, but I'm not going to get into my own personal prices in this video. Why? Because unless you live where I live and operate under the same exact circumstances, what I charge for a shoot is really non-pertinent to you. Pricing is relevant to your local market and your own personal situation. In other words, what you should be charging depends on many different factors. My goal in this video is to outline what some of those factors are so that you can make an educated decision about how to set the proper prices for your services. If you're confused on this topic, then I really hope the info in this video will help you out. All right, let's get into it. One of the first things worth considering when setting pricing for your services is how much your operating costs are. How much does it cost to run your business? Luckily, the business of real estate photography has a relatively low overhead, which is nice, but this is definitely something to keep in mind when setting pricing. Here's some things to think about. How much have you spent on gear and how soon do you want to recoup that cost? How much are you paying in income taxes? We have to travel around a lot, so how much are you spending on gas and other car-related expenses? How much are you spending on business insurance? How much are you spending for online subscriptions and marketing like Adobe Creative Cloud, Dropbox, website hosting, etc.? And the list may go on for you. It's just a good idea to add up all these expenses so you're aware of how much it costs to run your business. Or if you're just starting out, you can estimate these costs so you have a sense of what they will be. If you add up all these expenses for a year of business and subtract that number for the gross income your business made that same year, you'll have your net income. Now, if you divide your net income by the amount of shoots you did that year, then you'll have an average amount of money you made per shoot. At this point, you'll be able to assess whether or not that amount is reflective of the amount of work you put in and whether it was worth your time or not. If you're pricing yourself really low, this may be an eye-opener for you, because once you factor in the amount of time it takes you to shoot and edit each job into the amount of money you make per shoot after expenses, you may find that you're making something like $4 an hour, and that's just not sustainable and you need to raise your prices. This leads us into our next question, which is what is your time worth to you? Do you have a dollar amount in mind that you would like to roughly make per hour? This is definitely something to keep in mind when setting your prices to ensure that you're happy with the amount of compensation you're getting for your time. As I was saying in the last section, the last thing you want to find out at the end of the day is that you're making something like $4 an hour. Take note of your average time investment for a shoot, i.e. how long it takes you to do a shoot on site, how long it takes you to edit a shoot, how long it takes you to travel to and from shoots, etc. Then you can take the average amount you make per shoot minus any expenses and divide that by the amount of hours you put in to do the work. Are you happy with the amount you're making per hour? If it's not what you had in mind, or it's not what you think your time is worth, then you probably want to make some adjustments. As I was getting at earlier, it's important to be aware of what the competition in your area is charging so you can price yourself accordingly. There's quite a bit of variation in different areas, so it's important to focus on your own immediate market and not what someone in another state or country is charging. Spend some time and do your research. This is probably the most important step when setting your pricing, because when you present your pricing to your clients, you want to be confident in those numbers and know where you stand amongst your competitors. Check out other photographers' websites in your area to see if there are pricing listed on there, and if not, you could always email them saying you're interested in their services and inquire about how much they charge. Once you have a good idea of the range of pricing in your area, then you can start to figure out where you fit into that picture. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when first starting out is thinking they should undercut all the competition by pricing themselves super low, thinking that will get them a lot of clients. This is a big mistake, as I was implying earlier. You will be making next to no money, attracting the worst kind of clients that you will not retain, and it's an unsustainable business model. Clients that go for that sort of thing are one-time clients that you'll probably never hear from again because they'll go with whomever gives them a better deal. You want to build loyalty and long-time relationships with your clients, and those type of customers want a quality, reputable photographer, so you need to portray that with your product and your pricing. Being the cheapest person in town sends the wrong message, and you're setting yourself up for failure. So where should you price yourself? My suggestion would be to start somewhere near the middle of the field and see where that gets you. You have to stand by the quality of your work and your pricing and be confident about it when you speak to clients. Explain to them your process and why it's high quality, and make the case for what sets you apart from the pack. If you're confident and know your worth, it will show. A lot of photography is perception. There's plenty of photographers out there whose work isn't necessarily great, but they have a booming business because they exude confidence regarding their work and they truly believe they're worth what they charge. And clients perceive this as this person knows what they're doing. All right, now let's get into price structuring. Here are some common ways that real estate photographers structure their pricing. Charging a price per image that is shot, for example, $5 per image. Charging by square footage tiers, for example, 2,000 to 3,500 square feet will be X amount, 3,500 to 5,000 square feet will be Y amount, and so on. Pricing per square foot, meaning an actual price per square foot, for example, 7 cents a square foot. So if you had a house that was 2,500 square feet, you would multiply 2,500 times 7 cents, and the price would be $175. Pricing by packages, for example, package A is up to 25 images, package B is up to 40 images, and so on. Okay, so those are pretty much the most common ways that real estate photographers structure their pricing. Now let's break some of these down and I will give you my personal opinion on them. Personally, I charge by square footage tiers. Why? Because it's simple and easy for clients to understand, which is what I think your goal should be when it comes to structuring your pricing. Herein lies the problem with the charging per image or charging per square foot methods, because they require your client to whip out a calculator to figure it out, and that's just too confusing and unnecessarily complicated. You should be able to tell your clients what they charge, and they should immediately be able to understand it, in my opinion. I'm also not a big fan of pricing by packages with a set number of images. The reason being is that some clients will try to take advantage of you. I've done shoots like this before, and what will happen is that a client will hire you for a huge 6,000 square foot house and order your lowest package, which is say 25 images, saying they only want 1 or 2 shots of the main rooms. And then you'll get on site and do your 25 shots, and then they'll say to you, "You don't mind just taking a few more pictures, do you?" And then you feel obligated to do so to make your client happy. You end up taking more photos than what was agreed to, so then you need to either suck it up and not charge for those extra images, or you need to have an awkward conversation with your client about charging them more for the shoot. By telling them you're going to be charging them more, you run the risk of the client feeling like you're nickel and diming them, even though you are right and they should be charged more because they went over. You see how this could be a problem? This whole conundrum could be avoided by not structuring your pricing with hardline limitations like this. It's also annoying to be counting and keeping track of how many images you're shooting while you're on site shooting. It's much nicer and freeing to just be able to concentrate on your photography and do a good job. I know from experience about how many images I'm going to be shooting and how much work the job will entail based on how big the house is, which is why I structure my pricing by square footage tiers. It's clear and easy to understand pricing, and I can just go into a job and shoot at will without worrying about having to keep track of how many images I'm shooting, and I know I'm charging appropriately and getting properly compensated for my time. Alright guys, so I hope the information in this video was helpful to you in deciding how much to charge for your services. I think the main takeaways are to research your market and know where you fit in with your pricing, have a clear and easy to understand pricing structure, and also make sure that you're being properly compensated for your time. Pricing is definitely a trial and error process that will most certainly need adjustment over time. If you're not getting any responses or bookings, then your pricing is probably too high. And conversely, if your phone is ringing off the hook and you're getting more jobs than you can handle, then it's probably time to raise your prices. Thanks so much for watching, and again, I hope this information was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I really appreciate your support. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, please check the link down in the description below. Thanks again so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again on the next one.